to the next point. We should ensure that whatever we say is clear.
That means work is being done. We can see that it is in opposite direction.
Hello, my students at home. I am Abbas Shehu by name, your usual commerce teacher. Today we are going to continue with the topic we started, known as trade associations. In that last topic, we discussed what it means by trade association, and also started talking about types of trade association, where we talk about Chamber of Commerce and Manufacturers Association. Today we are going to go further to take a look at cartel, trust, consortium, and other forms of industrial combinations. Now, under this topic, we intend to look at the following. One, we'll look at meaning and features of a cartel. Two, reasons for forming a cartel. Three, meaning of a trust. Four, differences between a cartel and a trust. Five, we will look at meaning of consortium and reasons for its formation. Six, other forms of industrial combinations, such as holding company, price ring, syndicate, and merger. And lastly, we look at terms used frequently in terms of trade associations. Then we'll round up the class and give you assignments. Now, the first item is what we mean by a cartel. Meaning of a cartel. What do we mean by a cartel? A cartel is a monopolistic type of organization established originally by producers of similar products for the main purpose of restricting output of members in order to keep up the prices of their products. I say it again. It is a monopolistic type of organization established originally by producers of similar products. Producers of similar products. And they are establishing that cartel or that kind of coming together in order to maintain prices of their goods, as well as output. Two main reasons. One, to maintain prices, to keep prices of their products stable, and as well as maintain the total output of their product, to control. Because it is believed that the higher the supply, then the lower the price. So in order for them to control the prices of their products, they manipulate and control the total output to be produced by all their members so that the goods or products will not be in high supply in the market. It is an association of independent producers formed mainly for the purpose of regulating prices and controlling output. We have said that already. Members of cartel have their separate identities. Each member maintains its identity. There is nothing like losing identity, as we will see in other forms of trade association. Members of cartel have their separate identities and they are independent. They are independent. None is dependent on the other. They are independent. Example of a cartel is Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, known as OPEC, which Nigeria is a member. This is an organization, an association of nations producing petroleum products. And they formed this association in order to, like we have said, maintain prices as well as the total output to be produced. That's talking about the meaning of a cartel. Now we go to the next item, which is features of a cartel. One, it is monopolistic in nature. And by the time we talk about monopolistic in nature, we're talking about monopoly. A monopoly is a situation where we have several buyers of goods or service, but with single seller. So they want to maintain a kind of one line of, channel in terms of selling their goods. They want to maintain or be talking with one voice. And that's why we say it is monopolistic in nature, because it tends to bring all other producers under one umbrella, speaking with one voice, acting on the same command given by the executive of the organization or association. Number two, it is established by independent producers of similar products. Each nation is independent. Number three, quotas are allocated to members. Each country or each member will be allocated a particular quota to be produced. A particular quantity is given, which they cannot produce above, which they cannot exceed. Number four, output is restricted to force prices up. They restrict the total number of output to be produced in order to control the rise in terms of price or fall in terms of price. Number five, competition is removed. There is no competition because they are all considered as one. They all come together and behave as one. One thing that affects one of them affects all of them. So they work as a team, they work as one. So the issue of competition is being systematically eliminated. Let's talking about the features of a cartel. Now we go to reasons why a cartel is formed. Number one, to keep up prices or price of their products. They want to keep up the prices. It is their intention to keep up prices, because it is when the prices are up that they begin to get more revenue out of what they are selling. Number two, to ensure higher profit for members. To ensure higher profit for members. Each person you see or business setup you see that is out to produce, that is out to sell, is there to make profit. And the aim is not only making profit, but to maximize profit. So the aim of, or reasons for setting a cartel is to make sure that profit is achieved, and not only achieved, but achieved at a very higher level. Number two, to reduce wastage in terms of eliminating competition, because where there is competition, sometimes it may lead to wastage. All unhealthy competition at times leads to wastage, because by the time you produce more, everybody's producing more in order to sell, and at the end of the day, they're not able to sell. The price will be forced to go down, and by the time that happens, they will be selling at a loss, resulting to wastage. Number four, the last one we have here, regulating output, regulating their total production. The total number of goods they are producing, they regulate it by giving out quotas to their members. And that's just talking about a cartel. Now we go to the next trade association that we call trust. What is trust? A trust is an amalgamation of different competing firms. Different competing firms in different lines of businesses. In different lines of businesses. Unlike in a cartel where they are producing similar products. In a trust, they are firms from different lines of businesses. that come together and merge together, amalgamate together. And they are working under a single control. They are different firms that come together, and each is maintaining its identity, but are under one control. The control channel is coming from one direction. The firms maintain their identities, but the trustee, in this case, there is what you call trustee, that will be given the responsibility of controlling all the activities of the other firms. So the trustee will take over the management and control of the whole firms that agree to come and form what is known as trust. And a certificate is issued to all members. All members of the trust are given certificates to show that they belong to this particular trust. That's what we mean by a trust. Now, having seen what we mean by a trust, we go to the next item, which is differences between a cartel and a trust. Differences between a cartel and a trust. We have discussed what a cartel is. We have just said the meaning of a trust. Now let's see the differences between the two of them, because they are somehow similar. But let's bring out the differences. Number one, in a cartel, members maintain their independence. In a cartel, members maintain their independence. Whereas in a trust, members lose their independence. Two, in a cartel, it is voluntary, and members can withdraw. If you are in a cartel, it is voluntarily to join, and at any time, a member can withdraw. But in times of trust, it is a complete merger, nothing like withdrawal. Nothing like withdrawal, because it has already been merged and become one. Three, in terms of cartel, it is horizontal in nature. But in terms of trust, it is vertical in structure. It's talking about the structure. Number four, in terms of cartel, no certificate is issued to any member. But in terms of trust, certificate is issued to all members, showing that they belong to that particular trust. And the last one we have here, producers are given quotas in times of cartel. They are given quotas of what to produce, the total to produce. But in terms of trust, nothing like quotas. Everybody can produce whatever he wants to produce under the control of single management. That's talking about the differences between a cartel and a trust. Now we go to talk about another trade association known as Consortium. Consortium. What is the meaning of Consortium? Consortium is a group of independent firms. It is a group of independent firms formed to work on a particular project. Formed to work on a particular project, which requires large resources and is too complex for a single firm to undertake. This is talking about where there is a particular project that requires huge amount of money to be carried out, to be executed. Now, individual firms may not be able to do so, and because they are not having that capacity, they come together as one. They put their resources together as one to carry out that particular project. That is what you refer to as consortium. It is a consortium. It is an association of firms that pull their resources together to finance a project they cannot embark upon individually. They are out there to finance a particular project. And once the project is done and dusted, they are coming together, it's over. Now, reasons why consortium is formed. One, to finance a project which requires large capital outlay. To finance a project that requires large amount of money. Two, when the project is too complex. It's too complex to be undertaken by an individual firm. Different firms come together so that the project as a whole can be broken into parts, and each part undertaken by one particular firm or the other. That's talking about reasons for forming a consortium. or reasons for formation of consortium. Now, after talking about these three major ones, let's look at other ones that are minor, other trade associations that are minor. And amongst them are what we call holding company. Holding company. Holding company. In holding company, one company acquires the whole or large proportion of the issued capital, issued share capital of other companies with the objectives of actively controlling such companies. In a holding company, one company, in fact, there are many companies, but one of them acquires the large portion of the capital. And because the company acquires the large portion of the capital of that particular business, the company has almost total control of running the whole thing. A holding company is purely a finance concern which uses its capital to acquire controlling interests of over 51% in other firms. The parent company, which is the company that has the largest share, is known as the parent company. It's called holding company. While others that have their shares in insignificant amounts are known as subsidiaries. But the company with the highest share, having the largest share, is known as holding company. Other companies that are having small amount as part of the shares of the business capital or company's capital are called subsidiaries. That's talking about holding company. And that's why we have, if you remember, in those days, we used to have Power Holding Company of Nigeria, PSCN. That's a particular company that dominates the whole of the capital of that company. Others are considered as subsidiaries. We have the next one, which is known as price ring. Price ring. Price rings. It's an association of a number of competing firms. It is an association of a number of competing firms. There are competing firms who have agreed to operate under a common price policy. Who agree to operate under a common price policy. And that's why they are referred to as price rings. For their competing products, they come together to operate under a given price policy in order for their goods to compete in the market. Price rings advocate uniform price. They advocate for uniform price. They call for uniform price of their products, but allows competition among the firms. They allow competition. They call for common price, yet allow competition among different firms. If you are able to compete, if you are able to advertise your goods more than the other firms, you are likely to be better off. So they allow competition, but advocate for common price, uniform price for their products. The firms are loosely associated together. That's what we are talking about when we're talking about price rings. Then we go to the next one, which is known as a syndicate. Syndicate. This is an association of organizations who work together for a common aim while retaining their independence. It is a voluntary kind of association. For example, we have what is known as underwriters at Lyon's work in syndicate. Underwriters at Lyon's, they work in syndicate. Syndicate, let me repeat it. It is an association of organizations who work together for a common aim while retaining their independence. They come together because they have a common aim they want to achieve. And because of that particular aim, which is common to, they come together, work together to achieve that particular aim. An example of a syndicate is what we call underwriters at Lyon's. And it is a voluntary kind of association. Once you are not longer interested, you can what? You can pull out. That's why it is known as voluntary organization. It is not a compulsory for you to be there, but once you are there, you work together for the interest of all members, for all members to achieve that particular common aim that brought them together, that put them together as one. That's talking about syndicate. Now we go to the next one we call merger or amalgamation. This is defined as an amalgamation of the undertaking, interest in undertakings or any part of undertakings of one or more companies. Merger is defined as an amalgamation of the undertaking, interest in undertakings or any part of undertakings of one or more companies. Merger or amalgamation is the combination or coming together of two or more previously independent firms. Two or more previously independent firms coming together of two or more independent firms in the past to form one large firm. To form one large firm. They were independent in those before. Now they come together to form large or larger firm. It is the unification of two or more organizations to form a new one. To form a new one in order to have a better output, in order to have a better outlook, in order to have a better profit. The old firms will lose their identities immediately in the organization, while the new firm can take a new name or adopt a combination of names of the old firms. If they like, they change or bring a new name entirely. Or if they like, they can combine the old names to make a new name. And by so doing, those names in the past have ceased to exist. That's talking about what you call merger or amalgamation. Now we go to the next item. Reasons why firms, two or more firms can come together to form a merger. Number one, to look out for larger markets. To look out for larger markets. Because by the time they come together, they will be able to produce more. They'll be able to look for larger markets. Two, advantages of large scale production or economies of scale. By the time there are many, it is expected, all other things being equal, it is expected that they will produce more. And by the time they are producing more, the cost of production will be less. Number three, efficiency. Two heads, they say, are better than one. Once they are two or more, they tend to share experiences. They tend to share ideas. And by so doing, it's expected of them that whatever they're producing will be efficient. Number 4, diversification. Coming together of different firms can now make them to diversify in terms of what they are producing, what they are doing. Number 5, elimination of competition. Instead of the 3 of them to be competing before, now they come together and they are working as one. So the issue of competition is raised or wiped out. Then financial stability. In order for them to maintain, because one may not be able to fully stand on its toes, but by the time they come together, put their money together, they are likely to function and function well. Of course, number 7, reducing cost of production. Number 8, obtaining raw materials. They can obtain their raw materials quickly through this combination, through this coming together. And that's all about what we have for you as far as this class is concerned. But before I go, I will leave you with my number in case there's any area you find difficult to understand. My number is Abbas Shehu, that's the name. The number is 08100127508. Again, Abbas Shehu is the name. The number is 08100127508. Thank you for being here. Continue to read the books, study hard. The sky will not be your limit. Have a nice day.